Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Shri Shri Kishore Kishori Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Shri Baladev, Shri Mati Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnaya Bhutale Shri Mate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi. Today we're reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 3. And today we're doing 2 verses. Namely number 12 and number 13. And I think 13's on the board. So maybe I'll do 12 by myself. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Well, maybe because 13 is on the board, maybe we'll just do that, responsively first. So please repeat. Shri Vasudeva Uvacha Viditosi Bhavan Sakshat Viditosi Bhavan Sakshat Purusha Prakrite Paraha Purusha Prakrite Paraha Kevalanubhavananda Kevalanubhavananda Sarupa Sarvabhuti Drik Svarupa Sarvabhuti Drik. Shri Vasudeva Uvacha. Viditosi Bhavan Sakshat. Purusha Prakriti Paraha. Kevalanu Bhavananda. Sarupa Sarvabhuti Drik. Please chant. Shri Vasudeva Uvacha. Viditosi Bhavan Sakshat. Kevalanu Bhavananda. Sarvarupa Sarvabhuti Drik. Shri Vasudeva Uvacha. Viditosi Bhavan Sakshat. Purusha Prakriti Paraha. Kevalanu Bhavananda. Sarupa Sarvabhuti Drik. Shri Vasudeva Uvacha. Viditosi Bhavan Sakshat. Purusha Prakriti Paraha. Kevalanu Bhavananda. Sarupa Sarvabhuti Drik. Word for word synonyms, please repeat. Shri Vasudeva Uvacha. Shri Vasudev prayed. Vidita Asi. Now I am fully conscious of you. Bhavan, your lordship. Sakshat, directly. Purusha, the supreme person. Prakriti, to material nature. Paraha, transcendental beyond everything material. Kevala Anubhava Ananda Sarupa. Your form is Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. And whoever perceives you becomes transcendently blissful. Sarvabhuti Drik, the supreme observer, the supersoul, the intelligence of everyone. So because we're also doing text, the previous text, 12, I will back up and recite text 12. Both of these verses have short purports. So text 12 goes as follows. Atainamasto davadarya purusham param natanga kritati kritanjali swarochisa bharata suttika griham virochayantam gatapi prabhavavit. Translation. O Maharaj Parikshit, descendant of King Bharata, Vasudeva could understand that this child was the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan. Having concluded this without a doubt, he became fearless. Bowing down with folded hands and concentrating his attention, he began to offer prayers to the child, who illuminated his birthplace by his natural influence. Srila Prabhupada's purport: struck with such great wonder. Do we remember what the wonder was? Why was Vasudeva struck with wonder? Okay, can we remember any of the 4 points that were brought up yesterday? Why Vasudeva was struck with wonder? Subal? Prabhu? Okay. Okay, the fact that he appeared in Kamsa's prison, despite all the threat there. He's appearing with dress and decoration. No baby's born like that. I'm sorry? Okay. That he appeared from Devaki's womb. Okay, let me look back. The first wonder was that the Lord was not afraid to appear in the prison house of Kamsa. That was already mentioned. Second, that although he's all-pervading, he appeared from the womb of Devaki. Third, that he came out so nicely decorated. And fourth, that he was Vasudeva's worshipable deity, yet he took birth as his son. Okay, so here's Vasudeva. Try to get into his shoes, you know. He's like just thunderstruck. So struck with such great wonder, Vasudeva now concentrated his attention on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Understanding the influence of the Supreme Lord, he was surely fearless, since he understood that the Lord had appeared to give him protection. Gata B. Prabhavavit. Understanding that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present, he appropriately offered prayers as follows. And now text 13. Shri Vasudeva Uvacha Viditosi Bhavan Sakshat Purusha Prakrite Paraha Kevalanu Bhavananda Sarupa Sarva Buddhi Trik. Vasudeva said, "My Lord, you are the Supreme Person, beyond material existence, and you are the Supersoul. Your form can be perceived by transcendental knowledge, by which you can be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I now understand your position perfectly." It's very nice. You see the general tendency when offering prayers to the Lord is that one begins by expressing their understanding of the Lord's position. One does not just knock on the Lord's door. "Hi, what do you want?" "Oh, well, this is what I want. Please give me my daily bread. Please give me. Or do this for me." One begins by expressing their understanding of the Lord's position. Because without understanding the Lord's position, then we're not going to make the proper requests. So Vasudeva is now appreciating this child's position. So Prabhupada's purport: within Vasudev's heart, affection for his son and knowledge of the Supreme Lord's transcendental nature both awakened. In the beginning, Vasudev thought, such a beautiful child has been born, but now Kamsa will come and kill him. But when he understood that this was not an ordinary child, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he became fearless. Regarding his son as the Supreme Lord, wonderful in everything, he began offering prayers appropriate for the Supreme Lord. Completely free from fear of Kamsa's atrocities, he accepted the child simultaneously as an object of affection and as an object of worship by prayers. A few points that we can cover here. First, I would like to back up a little bit to the last couple of days. Let's see, today's Tuesday. So on Sunday, somebody asked a nice question. They inquired about this description of baby Krishna appearing to Devaki and Vasudeva that we read on Sunday. So the question was, did the baby that appeared there in the prison house, did the baby then exhibit like a big Vishnu form with 4 arms? Or was it the baby himself that exhibited the 4 arms? Like in the, you know. And I had said, well, all the pictures, the paintings that I've seen, they always show there's little, I mean, it's right here in this canto. There's little baby Krishna on a pillow, you know, flashing his effulgence, and he's all decorated and beautiful. And simultaneously, a 4-armed Vishnu form is standing behind him, you know, showing Devaki and Vasudeva that he's actually the Supreme Lord. I hope my fingers weren't covering that. I don't know if you can see that from there, but that's how all the pictures I've seen are. Then yesterday after class, after breakfast, or maybe it was after class, Acharya Nishta Prabhu brought something up to me, which I thought was very excellent. He said, if we go back to that text number 910 from Sunday, the translation directly is talking about the newborn child. And it says there, Vasudeva saw the newborn child who had very wonderful lotus-like eyes and who bore 4 hands with 4 weapons. It does not say that Vasudeva saw the newborn child who then exhibited like a separate Vishnu form with 4 arms. It says the child exhibited 4 arms, 4 hands, like that. And it keeps repeating, the child, the child, the child, throughout the translation. So then that brought up some remembrance I had from reading at least sections of Rupa Goswami's Laghu Bhagavatamrita a couple of years ago. And I hadn't remembered it when giving the class on Sunday, but then I remembered it after Acharya Nishta asked his question. And it actually made me appreciate Krishna's statement in Bhagavad Gita that kantayantaschamam nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha, that if we're just reading by ourselves, we miss things. How many times have I read that verse? Canto 10, Chapter 3, Text 9. Every Janmashtami, we read those chapters that we're reading right now. And I've never noticed this point after so many times of reading it. So when we read by ourselves, somehow or other, because we're imperfect, there's like blind spots. And we can read the same verse umpteen times and keep missing it. But when we read and discuss with devotees who are actually like-minded, meaning that they're also interested in the subject matter, they're not just officially attending the class so they can say they got their 45 minutes in and then they can go take breakfast. They're actually interested in knowing the details. So because we sit with devotees and discuss something that I completely am blind to, somebody else points out. And then I look back and I say, what? How did I not see that? Like, what's wrong with me? And then I might point out something that you don't see. That's why Krishna Katha is most relishable. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. We get great satisfaction and bliss discussing amongst each other, much more than just studying by myself. So, we want to address this point because it's an extremely important point. The child has appeared in the prison house to Vasudeva and Devaki as a little baby. But here it said is that the baby himself exhibited 4 arms when he chose to. Rupa Goswami in Lagu Bhagavatamrita explains that Krishna can exhibit 2 or 4 arms, but still be Krishna. Vishnu only exhibits 4 or more, but not 2. Vishnu never displays 2 arms. So I just want to read, for the sake of hearing the pramana. This is Rupa Goswami in Lagu Bhagavatamrita. So in 1.23 he says, sometimes without abandoning his Krishna form, Lord Krishna manifests a 4-armed form. This is a Prakash Rupa of his 2-armed form. Then in 3.89 he says, begotten by his father Maharaj Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, who is as dark as a rain cloud, and who has 2 and sometimes 4 arms, appeared in the womb of his mother Devaki. At 5.7d, he says, Chatur Bhuja, he who has 4 arms, is a name of both Lord Narayan and Lord Krishna. In 5.447, he says, the form of Sri Krishna sometimes manifests 4 arms and sometimes 2 arms. In either feature, he never abandons his transcendental qualities, handsomeness, and pastimes. And then finally, in 5.463, in his prakat form means the visible form, the form that appears in the visible pastimes, not the aprakat Goloka realm which we can't perceive. In his prakat form, Lord Krishna goes to the Yadu's capital, Mathura. From Vrindavan, he goes to Mathura, concealing his real identity as the son of Vraja's king, Nanda Maharaj. He shows himself as Lord Vasudeva. Vasudeva has sometimes 2 arms and sometimes 4 arms. So the baby who has appeared to Devaki and Vasudeva is known as Vasudeva. He is Krishna, but he's not Vraja Krishna. He's Vasudeva Krishna. So in Vraj, Krishna is known as Krishna. Nandanandana, Yashodanandana, Gopal, Govinda, Shamasundara, etc. In Mathura, he's known as Vasudev Krishna, or Mathuresh, the Lord of Mathura. In Dwarka, he's known as Vasudev Krishna, or Dwarkadish, the Lord of Dwarka. The Vasudev Krishna form can exhibit 2 arms or 4 arms. He's not Vishnu. He's still in the category of Krishna. Of course, Vishnu and Krishna are the same. I'm just making a point here. Vishnu, who are the parents of Vishnu? He doesn't have any parents. Whenever there's a Vishnu avatar, you don't hear about parents. I mean, Lord Nrsingadev appeared from a pillar. You know, Varaha appeared from the nostril of Lord Brahma, etc. So many, you won't find parents. For Shakti-Avesh avatars, they will have parents because they're perfected souls who are, empowered by the Lord. But the direct Vishnu avatars, they don't have parents. Now you might object, well, what about Ramachandra? He's in a special category. He's called Parabhashta avatar, where he is having the most qualities of Krishna of any other avatar. And we actually find at his abode, Ayodhya. Let's go to the spiritual world. Let's take a trip to the spiritual world. There's Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is known by 3 qualities. That there in Vaikuntha, there's deathlessness. Deathlessness. Everything is sat, eternal. Then there's fearlessness, because everything there is chit. They're in full knowledge. It's only ignorance that causes fear. And then everything there is free of anxiety, because everything there is ananda. So in Vaikuntha planets, the Supreme Lord as Narayan and his various Vishnu expansions reside. The rasas that we find there are Dasya rasa and Sakya rasa, or friendship, on what's called the lower half of Sakya. It means Sakya with the mood of reverence. It's tending towards Dasya. Now when you go beyond Vaikuntha, it doesn't mean a physical beyond, but when we rise up from Vaikuntha, the next sphere that we encounter is called Ayodhya. And that's Ramachandra's place. And there, he does have parents. There, the 4 rasas are, the 4 upper rasas, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Shringara. Shringara means conjugal. Rasa is there, but he just has Sita Devi. Nobody else is in the mood of Shringara rasa. Now, but Vatsalya rasa is there. So now we go beyond Ayodhya, we come to Goloka. And Goloka has its inner core and its 2 outer spheres. So on the most outer sphere is Dwaraka. And then inside that, Mathura, inside that, Vraj. So in Mathura and Dwaraka, Krishna is Vasudev Krishna. And all the rasas are there But the Sringara rasa is in the mood of wedded love, Svakiya rasa. And even the parental, Vatsalya, and friendship, Sakya, still have a degree of reverence involved. There's still some Aishvarya Bhava there. Not like Vaikuntha, but it's still there. And in Mathura and Dwaraka, Krishna, not Vishnu. Vishnu's not in Goloka. Krishna sometimes exhibits 4 arms. Now you come to the inner whirl of the lotus, and that's Vraj proper. And there, all the rasas, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Shringar, are imbued with the flavor of madhurya, or sweetness. The friendship there is not in reverence. The friendship there is madhurya. The Vatsalya there is not in reverence. The Vatsalya there is in sweetness, even with Dasya. And the Sringara rasa isn't even referred to as Shringar. Usually it's referred to as Madhurya rasa because it's the pinnacle, 100% unalloyed Madhurya. The most condensed sweetness possible is the Sringara rasa in Vrindavan. So therefore it's called Madhurya rasa, but actually the name is Sringar rasa. And there the mood is of an unwedded type called Parakiya rasa. So in Krishna's most intimate pastimes, which are only in, Vraj, the mood of Madhurya permeates, and there's no consciousness of Aishvarya, although it's explained that Goloka is more opulent than Vaikuntha. But due to the Madhurya mood, people aren't absorbed in the opulence, they're absorbed in the sweetness of love for Krishna. So this is an important point that has been brought up over these last 3 days, because we have to understand that when Krishna appeared to Devaki and Vasudev, that is Mathura, which is a Boma manifestation of the Mathura in the Goloka planet, spiritual world. He's not Vishnu. He's Krishna, but he's Vasudev Krishna. So taking on a little bit more, Aishvarya mood with his devotees. So to answer that question that was raised, when the baby appeared in the prison house of Kamsa, was it the baby that showed 4 arms? Because Acharya Nishtaprabhu yesterday said to me, but Vishnu doesn't have a baby form. Vishnu's never a baby or a child. So here's the harmony, here's the understanding that it's not Vishnu, it's not Narayan. Prabhupada will talk like that, and even the Acharyas will talk like that, the Vishnu form, to refer to the 4-armed form. But Rupa Goswami, one of our Shastra Acharyas, he has concluded that he's actually Vasudeva Krishna who displays 4 arms. So it might seem like a subtle point, but it's a very important point. And then another question was raised yesterday about Devaki and Vasudev not being able to enjoy the childhood pastimes of Krishna, but Nanda and Yashoda were allowed. They were blessed in that way. And rightly so, it was brought up that, well, this is because, Vishnu doesn't have childhood pastimes. Similarly, Vasudeva Krishna doesn't exhibit those childhood pastimes. So later in this canto, it's described, and then it's even more nicely explicated by Shivaram Swami in his book Krishna Sangati, that Prishni and Sutapa spent 3 lifetimes, well, they performed mega austerities in order to get the Lord as their son 3 lifetimes in a row. They performed maha austerities, and their desire was to get the Lord as their son. They got Vasudeva Krishna as their son. Now, Yashoda and Nanda, it's explained. We won't be able to go into all the details because it's very nicely described in Shivaram Swami's book, Krishna Sangati, I believe at the beginning before he gets into the main chapters. It's explained that Nanda and Yashoda are eternally, always Krishna's parents. They're in Goloka. And they are not Jiva Tattva. They're not individual, ordinary souls like us. They are expansions of Krishna's Sarup Shakti, which means they're expansions of his own form. And it's explained that all the Parishads, the principal gopis, the principal sakas, the parents, Nanda and Yashoda, the cows, are expansions of Krishna's Sarup Shakti. They're not jivas. So they're called Nitya Siddhas or Parishads, whereas the rest of us who are here in the material world, we're Jiva Shakti. We can develop love for Krishna in the mood that Yashoda and Nanda have, if you're attracted to Vatsalya Rasa, or in the mood that Krishna's Gopas have, if you're attracted to Sakya Rasa, or in the mood that Krishna's Gopis have for him, if you're in the mood of the Madhurya or Sringara Rasa. But we never become a Parishad, we never become a emanation of the Sarup Shakti. We always remain Jiva Shakti, but we become under the shelter of the Sarup Shakti. Mahatmanas tumam partam, devim prakritam ashtritaha. That the great souls become sheltered by that Sarup Shakti of Krishna. They become protected from the onslaughts of Maya by taking shelter of a Ragatmika or a Parishad of Krishna and following in their footsteps to develop the same loving mood that they have. We don't become them, but we can become das of them. So it's explained then that Nanda and Yashoda are Parishads, expansions of Krishna's own Sarup Shakti. They're eternally Krishna's mother and father. They don't have to undergo austerity to become Krishna's mother and father. But they have an expansion of themselves that appear as demigods in this material realm, and they're known as Drona and Dara. So Drona and Dara, who are demigods, expansions of Yashoda and Nanda, they perform an austerity because Lord Brahma one day knocked down their door and said, I want you to create progeny. And they, being very great devotees actually, they said, okay, we will accept your order. Yes, sir. But please grant us this one boon. We wish to serve as parents to Lord Krishna when he appears in Boma Vrindavan. We want to be so absorbed in his childhood pastimes. Why? It wasn't for selfish reasons, because we want to enjoy. Why did they want to be so absorbed in Krishna's childhood pastimes? They said, because the Supreme Lord is appearing to deliver the conditioned souls by attracting them to his Vraj Leela. And it's said that if anybody hears his sweet childhood pastimes, they will be freed from the clutches of Maya. They will become liberated. They will become pure devotees of Krishna. So, dear Father Brahma, you have requested us to have children. We accept your order, but please bless us that we play the role of Krishna's parents so that we can facilitate his heartfelt desire to attract conditioned souls by his amazingly beautiful and attractive Leela. So be it, Brahma said. So Drona and Dara then merged into the bodies of Nanda and Yashoda, who are Krishna's eternal parents, after they performed an Ekadashi Vrata. Then they merged into the bodies of Nanda and Yashoda, and in that way, they vicariously enjoyed the childhood pastimes of Krishna and assisted Krishna in his mission, which was, the whole world looks at me with awe and reverence. But you know what? Such devotion made feeble by such reverence doesn't attract me. I'm not actually attracted to devotion done in any tinge of reverence. The only thing that truly attracts me is devotion without any reverence. Just pure madhurya. So he said, let me go to planet Earth. Mankind will never, ever, ever, by study of the Vedas, by worship, by charity, by austerity, humankind will never come to that point of pure devotion free from every tinge of reverence. The only way it's going to happen is if I go on a road show. I'm going to go there and I'm going to show off my Vraj Leela. I'm going to bring my incredible devotees with me, and the humans on earth are going to see what pure love, only in madhurya, without a tinge of reverence, looks like. And they're going to be so thunderstruck by it. They're going to be so blown away by this attractive drama that they will finally have the desire to give up their petty material attachments and come to me. Without this attractive show, how is anyone going to know? So Drona and Dara wanted to assist Krishna in this mission. That's why they were able to perceive the beautiful pastimes of Krishna's childhood. It's further explained that if one doesn't understand Krishna properly, then they can't study Krishna's Leela. They'll misinterpret Krishna, which is what we see in the world today. People criticize Krishna for dancing with the gopis, and they criticize him for stealing butter and all sorts of things. So the Bhagavatam is designed in such a way that before we get to Krishna Leela, we have 9 cantos of Vishnu Avatar Leela. 9th canto gets into Ram Leela. Gradually now, 10th canto, Krishna Leela. So to develop faith, first one has to go through the 9 cantos so that their sambandha, jnana, their knowledge of Krishna's position is properly, embedded in their consciousness. And faith gradually grows as we hear the pastimes, missions, and instructions of the different Vishnu avatars. Then we come to 10th canto. Before we get into Rasa Leela, we hear the childhood pastimes of Krishna. And it's said that those childhood pastimes of Krishna further purify and develop one's faith. That if one has gone through 9 cantos and those, childhood pastimes of Krishna, then when one comes to the Rasa Leela description, then their faith is in the right place. They can actually properly understand Rasa Leela. So it's very good that in the association of devotees that these types of questions come up, because every single verse and every single purport should be scrutinizingly studied and understood before we enter into Rasa Leela. And then one final point is that Vasudeva has very nicely proved that he has proper understanding of Krishna. And what was the proof? Did he show a diploma? Look, I graduated, I know Krishna in truth. What was the proof that Vasudeva now, because he ended this one particular prayer saying, I now understand your position perfectly. Well, anybody can say that. I'll say that too. Oh, we meet that all the time. We go out on book distribution, and if we happen to meet somebody from India, they'll say, oh, I already know all about Krishna. I don't need that book. Right? And then we call their bluff. Oh yeah? What do you know about Krishna? So Vasudeva says, I now know your position perfectly. So what's the proof that he knows and he's not just bluffing, boasting, What's the proof that he knows Krishna's position perfectly? Say that again, please. Well, by transcendental knowledge, certainly transcendental knowledge was, made clear to him, so he knows Krishna's position perfectly. But I'm saying, what did he do to prove to us? Because we're doubting. Like when I meet a person who claims to be Hindu on the street and I offer them Bhagavad Gita and they say, no, I already know Krishna. I don't need that book. I already know they're wrong. Because I can see, well, by your lifestyle, by the questions I ask you and how you answer them, I can tell already, I can prove that you're bluffing, you're cheating. So Vasudeva is here telling all of us who are listening to the Srimad-Bhagavatam, I now know Krishna's position perfectly well. So my question is, why don't we call his bluff on it? How do we know, yep, that's true, he knows Krishna perfectly well. He saw the attributes, that's fine. I've also looked at the pictures and seen all of Krishna's attributes, but that's fine, but we also can see the pictures of Krishna and hear the descriptions of his beautiful form and appearance, but it doesn't mean that I know Krishna perfectly well. There was something Vasudeva did that proved he learned the lesson, not just like theory like we have, I'll give you a hint. The word begins with an F, and it doesn't stand for failure. It's an open book exam, you're allowed to look. Well, folded hands does begin with an F, but he did that after another F. He had faith, that's fantastic, that's another F. But I'm asking, how do we know that he felt fearless? Exactly, fearlessness. We say we know Krishna. We can rattle off the Bhagavatam verses and, sing bhajans and do 20 hours of service a day. We say that we know Krishna perfectly well, but here's the proof that we don't. We hear a bang and we go like this. We get scared at the slightest little thing. We're not fearless. The proof that one knows Krishna's position perfectly well is that they won't be fearless. And guess where Krishna is? He's in our heart. So that means he's in our heart. That means even if we're all alone in a dark forest, actually, you know what? You can't take sannyas unless and until you're ready to develop the last stages of fearlessness. Brahmacharis, grihastas, and vanaprasthas, anybody, any devotee, develops fearlessness gradually, step by step. It's not a, from 0 to 100. But a sannyasi is one who has agreed to take the last installment, and it's a heavy-duty one. That's why most people don't take sannyas, because traditional sannyas was one had to go by themselves without a cell phone or anything into all the different areas of the world, forests and deserts and metropolises and agricultural fields, and all by themselves with no shelter, no companionship, no resources. You had to become fearless because all you had was you and Paramatma. And that Paramatma would manifest as your Ishtadev, Krishna in our case. So fearlessness means that is proof that we actually know Krishna in truth. But if I doubt you, like Giridhari is going to tell me that he's a multi-billionaire. And I'll just believe him because, I don't know, maybe he does come from a multi-billionaire family. I can't deny that. Yes, I believe you. But if I really understood that perfectly, then when we were out somewhere and all of a sudden some emergency happened where we need like gobs of money to solve the solution, to solve the problem, I would just turn to him and, could you hand over your gobs of money to solve this problem? But if I don't actually believe him, I have some doubt, I won't go to him. So doubt is what prevents us from, right? So if there's a slight bit of doubt, that means we don't actually know Krishna perfectly. Theoretical understanding is there, but we're talking about realization. So this was Vasudev's position. He proved his understanding of Krishna by his fearlessness. And Prabhupada explains in many places that if we simply take to the process of devotional service with great earnestness, our fearlessness can also evolve to come to that position where when death comes, what to speak of all the scary things that happen between birth and death, when death comes, the greatest fear, we can actually pass that final exam without fear. Because if we go into that final exam with fear, we might not pass it. We might doubt Krishna. So Vasudeva was very blessed in this way. So maybe we'll stop there, see if there's any questions or discussion. And tomorrow will be verse 14, starting with verse 14.
I have some very nice class. Thank you so much, Danakaeli Mataji. Couple of three things, that I request you to, maybe clarify and elaborate. One is Lord Vamanadev is Lord Vishnu, and Parshuram. So both of them have parents, but Parshuram I know is a Shaktivesh avatar. I remember reading in the third chapter of the first canto. But Vamanadev is not, right? Vamanadev is, how's the relationship of...
Okay, yeah, he's one of the Das avatars. Of course, yeah. Parshuram is also. Kalki is also, and they're considered Shakti Avesh.
Yeah, you hear other manifestations of Lord Vishnu that, accept parents, like, I think, Anusuyava, right? have that three...
Okay, so when Vishnu avatars, thank you for that question. Let's clarify that. When the Vishnu avatars in the spiritual realm, or in the spiritual, they each have their own loka, planet. My understanding is they do not have leelas which are in the mood of parent to child. So yes, as you've rightly, corrected or clarified, that when Vishnu avatars appear in this world, some of them do accept parents, like Vamanadev accepting Aditi and Kashyapa Muni as his parents, etc. In the spiritual world, Nrsingadev is eternally there. He doesn't appear from a pillar. Varaha is eternally there. He doesn't appear from the nostril of Brahma. And in fact, from kalpa to kalpa, the Vishnu avatars don't always appear in the exact same way. So there's different descriptions, for example, on how Varaha appears. He doesn't always appear from the nostril of Lord Brahma. So yes. So yeah, thank you for that clarification. Narayan himself, let's at least, because the avatars are something else coming to the material world to perform functions, right? They're taking often human forms, etc. But in Vishnu Loka or Vaikuntha Loka, Narayan himself does not have parents, and there's not even Shringar Ras except for his Lakshmis, which are not jiva souls, So only in Goloka can jivas aspire for Sakya, Vatsalya, or Shringar Madhurya Rasa. In Vaikuntha, you cannot do that. So only his parishads would have those positions. Like the Lakshmis, are his parishads. So jiva souls can go to Vaikuntha and be dasanudas Vishnu bhaktas, but they can only do that in the mood of dasya and the lower level of sakya, which is in reverence. But not the upper level of sakya, not vatsalya, not shringar.
Thank you. And the next one is on the... we know that in the beginning of the pastimes of Lord Krishna, when the instructions from Lord Vishnu from the ocean, the milk ocean, is that you all demigods take now birth in the family, in the dynasty of the Yadus and Vrishnis, and to assist him relieving Mother Earth from all the burden of the demons. We hear also that Nanda Maharaj came in the same, is basically like the stepbrother, right, of Vasudev. They have the same father with a different mother. So, and which makes sense how from the demigods expansions of Nanda Maharaj that you were explaining, Drona and Dara. I think what I'd like to clarify is it was the path to Krishna's pastimes, and some of these eternal this Shakti type of jivas, not jivas, these are 12 Shaktis manifestations. They came into the pastimes through that, path. Is that
so correct? It's actually described that Nanda and Yashoda are Krishna's parishads. They're Nitya Siddha, made of Sarup Shakti. Drona and Dara were sadhana siddhas. So they're not in the category of Sarup Shakti, but a Jiva Shakti. jivas who became perfected, and I think we already covered that purport in this canto, where Prabhupada explains that when one becomes a perfected sadhaka and goes back to Godhead, it's not that you exit planet Earth and go directly to Goloka. You actually take another birth in the material world as a siddha, a perfected devotee in Krishna's Bhoma Leela. And in that Bhoma Leela means where Krishna's having his pastimes in the material world. In that Bhoma Leela, that perfected sadhaka, who's now called a siddha, sadhana siddha, they get their last detailed training as to their exact service for Krishna. They take birth from the womb of a gopi. Now they're known as the son or daughter of such and such gopi, and that is their eternal identity. So then they participate in Krishna's Bhoma Leela, get freed of the last tinges of whatever might be there, get their last training up of details, and then when the Bhoma Leela becomes unmanifest, then they go to Goloka, where they continue to be known as the son or daughter of such and such gopi, and they have the same form and the same activities. So Drona and Dara, my understanding is that they fall into that category of siddha, of sadhana siddha. So they performed, after being instructed by Brahma to have children and agreeing to be part of his Bhoma Leela, they performed the Ekadashi Vrata, a big austerity. And in that way, they had their desire fulfilled to come and merge into the bodies of Nanda and Yashoda, and in that way enjoy the childhood pastimes of Krishna from the vantage point of Nanda and Yashoda. Although nobody can do that, only Nanda and Yashoda can. And then when Krishna's Bhoma Leela became unmanifest, Drona and Dara went back to the heavenly planets until it was time for their, last death to occur. Whereas Nanda and Yashoda remained in Vraj, in Goloka. So it's very technical, and Prabhupada doesn't get into all the details, and sometimes it sounds a little contradictory when he said, but when you look at all the statements that the acharyas have made and bring them all together, then it all gets harmonized.
It's quite a boon, no? That they receive. Drona and Dara, quite a boon that they receive to be able to have that position, So,
and you said you had a third thing, or no?
Yes, let me try to remember now that I got absorbed in this one. I think it was on the matter of fearlessness. Let me try to remember. It's more like an observation that it makes you in awe of how Krishna's Yoga Maya works. That although, Vasudeva is in perfect, full understanding of Krishna and is completely fearless, fearless of Kansa's atrocities, now, and you assume Devaki is also, but then the next breath they come and say, please make yourself into a baby.
Thank you for that excellent observation. So if you remember in the purport, I think it was the second purport, Prabhupada started off by saying that in Vasudeva, both affection for his son and reverence for him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifested. In other words, he totally understood the Supreme Lord's position, that he can't be killed. Why do I need to fear Kamsa? How silly. I'm fearless. But when his bhava kicks in, That's the tattva, you know. But when his bhava kicks in, and, you know, supersedes his tattva understanding, oh no, but he's my son. That affection overwhelms his understanding and makes him say, oh no, what if Krishna gets killed? We better protect him. So, bhava is actually higher than tattva. So that's part of Krishna's dealings with his devotees. He allows them to feel like that towards him. How are you going to have vatsalya rasa if you don't have any fear for your child? You're not a parent. You're not a parent if you just let the kid go and you never think about, oh, they might get hurt, they might fall, they might get kidnapped, they might fall ill. You're not a parent, right? So, to facilitate that. So I think Krishna Archana had her hand. No? Okay, and Keshava Kishore had his hand up first.
Thank you, Mataji, for the class was phenomenal. I have some kind of a little confusion on the dynamics of their relationship, because as long as the story unfolds, for instance, in the Damodar Leela, when Yashoda is with him and he opens his mouth, she gets a little scared because she sees the whole universe and his eternal form. And sometimes they act like parents that own the child and have to chastise him for his misbehaviors and stuff like that, but sometimes they are aware of the importance of this extraordinary kid. So
yes, so in Vraj, the Vrajabasis are not aware of Krishna's supreme position. It's only Madhurya. But every once in a while, on a very rare occasion, Krishna will do something like that. Show Mother Yashoda all the universes in his mouth, you know. And for a moment or two, she will be like, whoa, this is not an ordinary child. But immediately, Krishna takes that away, and she's like, anyway, Krishna, you have to go take your bath, or you have to eat your lunch, or you got to stop doing this, and chastise, chastise, chastise. In Boma Leela, that happens every once in a great while, but not in Vraj of Goloka. But it's actually explained that the Boma Leela is more sweet than the Aprakat Leela in Goloka, because in the Aprakat Leela of Goloka, Krishna doesn't display his little baby childhood pastimes. So in Boma Leela is where, you know, all this like incredible sweetness is displayed. So every once in a great while he'll show like that. Krishna even demonstrated his forearm form a couple of times in his Boma Leela. The gopis were looking for Krishna, he disappeared, and they and Radharani were looking all over the forest for him. And Krishna, being very mischievous, he was playing hard to get, and uh-oh, they're coming close, so he put up four arms. And they came by and they go, oh, it's you, Narayan, Haribol, have you seen Krishna? Okay, well, see you later, we're looking for Krishna. But he melted, he couldn't keep his four-arm form, and he had to like collapse two of them. And, right, that wasn't actually Vishnu, that was Krishna manifesting four arms. Again, with Vasudev Krishna and Dwarka, he was having teasing words with Rukmini, and she was misunderstanding him. She was interpreting his words as though he was like asking for a divorce or something. You know, she like was like bewildered by his, and so she started to lament and cry, and then he realized, oops, I've gone out of bounds, so he manifested four arms. because their relationship is in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan. In Dwarka, it's more towards getting towards the Vaikuntha than the... So he again manifested 4 hands, but he wasn't Vishnu, he was Vasudeva Krishna. Krishna, but Vasudeva Krishna. So anyway, it's kind of late, so we might have to stop there. Unless it's very quick or no? Is it okay if we stop? I don't want to get chastised for going overtime.
Yeah,
Take one more? Okay.
Yeah, very nice class. Thing is that I was thinking that, see, Dasya, Santa, all the Vatsalya rasas, that means it is said, it is stated that, suppose for example, Santa rasa includes Dasya rasa, or Vatsalya rasa includes Santa rasa and Dasya rasa. They are subset of, Vatsalya rasa or Sakhya rasa, like that. Similarly, Madhurya rasa includes every rasas. So that means, see, you pointed out a very nice point that Madhurya rasa is present in Golaka Vrindavan. So whereas in Vaikuntha, there is absent, only Aishcharya, opulence. So, thing is that, again, I have a little things to discuss, like in Chaitanya Leela, like when Lord Nityananda, broke his danda, sannyas danda of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he surpassed everything, like that, no reverence, nothing. So what type of rasa you can explain there?
In Chaitanya Leela, it's just Dasya rasa. In Chaitanya Leela, it's just Dasya rasa. The devotees are not having like Madhurya rasa with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Vatsalya rasa with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has his eternal mother and father who are non-different than Yashoda and Nanda. But the mood is Dasya rasa, although it may come out in different ways, but the foundational mood is Dasya rasa.
For Lord Nityananda, what type of rasa he exhibited? So when he broke the sannyas danda.
Well, he's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's brother in the sense that they're Krishna and Balaram, so that's like a Sakya rasa, But within Sakya rasa, you can act like I'm your older brother, that's how Balaram is with Krishna. He has a little bit of Vatsalya rasa mixed in with his Sakya rasa towards Krishna, because he's the older brother. So there's like so many nuances, all shades of gray, not just black and white. So we'll stop there. Grantara Srimad-Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.